Hello, everyone. Drew Barnett at Bruner and Barnett Personal Injury Lawyers. Here today to discuss the issue of funeral home negligence. What is it, and what laws pertain to it within the state of Alabama? Well, funeral home negligence is kind of an umbrella that we use to describe cases that can arise in the handling of a corpse or cremains following someone's death, regardless of the circumstances of death. Some typical examples of cases that we handle would be errors or omissions in the embalming process, in the cremation process, in the actual burial or funeral service itself. Unfortunately, there's several examples that we've handled dealing with the misrepresentation of bodies or bringing bodies to the wrong funerals, losing bodies, unfortunate decomposition or failure to properly preserve bodies, as well as cremation issues. Now, under Alabama law, we have a specific tort called the tort of outrage that typically is the primary cause of action we pursue in these cases. The tort of outrage is pretty loosely defined under Alabama law, and what that does is because of its loose definition, it gives some discretion, some leeway as to the uniqueness of these circumstances because they are very, very fact dependent cases. The tort of outrage is defined as conduct that is so extreme or outrageous that it goes beyond the bounds of a civilized society and is expected to cause emotional distress. Now, that's a fancy way of describing exactly what we see in these funeral home and cremation errors and these issues. Family members are oftentimes already in a state of compromised emotional state or status because of the loss of a loved one. But when there's errors or negligence within the post death setting, it can oftentimes either stunt, stall, or forever impact a family member's ability to enter and progress through the grieving process. And unfortunately, these type of instances can leave family members and loved ones with significant permanent emotional trauma. Now, here at Bruner Barnett, again, we've handled almost every type of imaginable funeral home or cremation issue in litigation. So we know the types of regulations involved in the funeral industry. We oftentimes employ various types of experts within the industry to critique the conduct that occurs and leads to one of these unfortunate events. And we're also well versed in developing and presenting the evidence of one's emotional trauma because that is some of the most significant damages a person can undergo and sustain following a traumatic event. Because unfortunately, the emotional scars and the emotional harms can sometimes be just as bad, if not worse, than the physical harms we see in personal injury cases. So if you or a loved one think that there has been an error or something has gone awry, you've been misled, you've been defrauded, there's errors with the funeral or an embalming, give us a call so we can discuss your particular circumstance. Again, these are very fact specific cases. That's why you need an experienced injury lawyer who has handled a wide variety of funeral home issues to tell you the lay of the land and guide you through this process with hopes that ultimately you and your family can come out the other side, formally grieve your loss, and rectify the emotional harms you've sustained.